Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachachodash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we go to be. Now, it's your brother Hawaii from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and confusion of faces whose bloodline go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who are Israelites whose spirit bear witness that they are a child of the Heavenly Father. And the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world English calls Jehovah God. And the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world English calls Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christos, or Yeshua, Yeshua, Yahweh. And pretty much this is going into how that the Lord had dressed us before, we was righteous in his eyes and stuff and did everything according to his will, but then we had became vile affections, then doing all abominable things, and and that's pretty much what this is going into. This is Isaiah chapter 5 verse 2. It says in his verse 1, it says, "Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard." It says, "My well-beloved have a vineyard in a very fruitful hill." It says, "And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choice vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein." You know what I'm saying? And this is just metaphorically about the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? How the Lord had groomed us to be gods. And it says, "And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes." You know what I'm saying? And wild grapes, are not ready to be eaten, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the right state. You know what I'm saying? Where they're passed as being edible, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing when you come down to the nation of Israel. You know what I'm saying? All us as a collect, you know what I'm saying? We went off, we was following the ways of the world. You know what I'm saying? You got 2/3 of Israel that's going to still follow the ways of the world. So therefore, they're going to be these sour grapes, man. These wild grapes. Grapes that's not at a right time or ripe enough so they can be eaten, man. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that they're not in the right state, man. You know what I'm saying? Where they can be accepted. So guess what? 2/3 of Israel are going to be in a state or a state of mind where they're not going to be accepted by the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 3, it says, "And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt," and betwixt means between me and my vineyard. Verse 4, it says, "What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?" You know what I'm saying? And, it says, "Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth with wild grapes." You know what I'm saying? So here it is. The Lord had dressed us, gave us the law, statutes, commandments, made us higher than all the other nations that he created. You know what I'm saying? And yet, he done all these things. He fed us, protected us, gave us shelter. You know what I'm saying? According to Proverbs 20 and 24, it says, "Man is going to the Lord. How can a man understand his own way?" You know what I'm saying? The Lord had us on everything and stuff, but yet we came out enticed with other doctrines, man. Following the ways of the heathens, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing things that's contrary to the laws, man. And also delighting in those things, man. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is like, I done all these things. What else could have been done? You know what I'm saying? But we still went off, and became those wild grapes. It says, "When I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes," man. You know what I'm saying? Because when's the best time when grapes are being accepted? You know what I'm saying? When they're ripe. You know what I'm saying? When they're ready to harvest. You know what I'm saying? If they're not ready for harvest and stuff, then they're not in the right state, and that's 2/3 right now, man. 2/3 of Israel, they're not in the right state. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord has done all these things for the nation of Israel and stuff, but yet 2/3 of Israel, they're still wild, man. You know what I'm saying? This is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. It says, "Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed." You know what I'm saying? It says, "How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?" And when you go into that word degenerate, it's the word sawar. It's a Sadawa Nara Sawar, and it's degenerate. It says turned off. That is deteriorated. You know what I'm saying? Destroyed. And 2/3 of Israel are destroyed. Now, the nation of Israel as a whole, we all went off. But the thing is that 2/3 are still going off. You know what I'm saying? And not making any type of effort. You know what I'm saying? Because when you generate, it brings forth more. But when you degenerate, it stops. Because D means not, and generate means pretty much to keep a process going. You know what I'm saying? Like how the scripture says, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much the elect, you know what I'm saying, they gonna keep flowing. They gonna generate. You know what I'm saying? They gonna bring morph. They gonna bring more substance, man. You know what I'm saying? They gonna bear more fruit. You know what I'm saying? But a degenerate plant, you know what I'm saying, it's not gonna bear any fruit. You know what I'm saying? It had fruit before. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not generating as much. You know, and that's how the Lord is looking at these 2/3, man. Because here it is, the entire nation of Israel, you know what I'm saying, was doing right. You know what I'm saying? And the 2/3, what did they do? They just slowly, gradually fell off and stayed in the world and brought forth fruit that was not meet for repentance, including themselves. You know. This is Matthew. No, this is Sirach in Apocrypha chapter Sirach or Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha chapter 40, verse 15. It says, "The children of the ungodly shall not bring forth many branches." It says, but are as unclean roots upon a hard rock. You know what I'm saying? And what's an unclean root? You know what I'm saying? Something that's dirty, defiled. You know what I'm saying? Easy, rotting. Verse 16. It says, "The weed growing up every water upon every water and bank of a river shall be pulled up before all the grass." You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really know anything about lawns and stuff, but what I do know is that people who do, pay attention to their lawns and stuff, pretty much weed would be like a bad thing for their lawns, man. You know what I'm saying? And the weeds would be the 2/3, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you all will spread wickedness. You know what I'm saying? You won't cut off wickedness. You won't stop wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Because like when it come down to the homosexuals, what did Jake say? It's like, as long as they don't come to me. But the thing is that you're not trying to put it out. You don't want to make sure, because that's the Lord want to put evil out of Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? Your bisexuals, your egosexuals. You know what I'm saying? Your necrophilias, your child pedophiles. You know what I'm saying? Your atheists, your Buddhisms, your Buddhists, your Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Anybody of false doctrine and stuff, or following the ways that is not of the Heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? Referring to Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You all are rotting, man. You all are those bad trees, man. Trees that can't bring fruit, man. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, you a fruit tree, but yet you can't bring none. Or you a tree and stuff, but yet don't no leaves grow, man. You know what I'm saying? Showing you don't have no life. It says, and if you gonna spread a virus, you know what I'm saying, be a schism, you know what I'm saying, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get rooted out. You're gonna get pulled out. You're gonna be spewed out. You know what I'm saying? And how is the Lord gonna pull out a lot of these Israelites, man? But through Jacob's trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? When shit hits the fan, with all hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? Verse 17, it says, "Bountifulness is as a most fruitful garden." It says, "And mercifulness endure forever." It says, Salakia. Verse 16 was the point. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 16. It says, "Ye shall know them by their fruits." You know what I'm saying? And the fruits is when a tree is got its nutrients, it got all it, the roots are real deep in the ground and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they close to a flowing river and stuff, and not stagnant waters. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna bring forth the fruit's gonna taste good. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna taste better, because when you nurture when you nurture a tree, when you take time and grooming it and stuff, you know what I'm saying, so it can come out more healthy and stuff, you know what I'm saying, the fruit is going to hold a stronger yield, you know what I'm saying, versus a tree that doesn't get groomed or have any attention that's paid to it, you know what I'm saying. It says ye shall know them by their fruits, you know what I'm saying. So that's how we know the fruits are the offspring, you know what I'm saying, the time that's being placed in. So when it come down to 2/3 and stuff, since they care about adultery, they care about smoking weed, squares, black and miles, you know what I'm saying, they want to have sex with other men's wives, you know what I'm saying, women want to jump from rod to rod, you know what I'm saying, want to follow the ways of the world. If they love that, then guess what? That's their fruits, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? Whatever time that you consume, whatever deeds or things or events or whatever you like and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna bring forth fruit. It's gonna you're gonna be about it, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? It says, even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. You know what I'm saying? And the men of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, with the elect, the 144,000, which consists of 12,000 men in each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The government body in the 1/3, which consists of men, women, and children who are Israelites who believe no matter how they look. The thing is that they're going to bring out good fruit. The elect is going to bring out good fruit. You know what I'm saying? They're going to build. They're going to have a better relationship with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get, they're going to learn from the mistakes. You know what I'm saying? They're going to build, they're going to build up, man. You know what I'm saying? They're going to bring forth stronger branches, stronger trees, you know what I'm saying? Bring up more fruit, man, and the fruit will be ready, you know what I'm saying? Ready, meat to eat, man, you know what I'm saying? Versus a corrupt tree, which will be the 2/3 of Israel, you know what I'm saying? They're just gonna build up in wickedness. So guess what? When grapes look all good on the outside and stuff, you bite into it and stuff, and it's still sour. It's not sweet because it ain't ready. It's not in the right state to be eaten, man. You know what I'm saying? And the scripture says, present our bodies as a living sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that when it come down to 2/3, you know what I'm saying, they're not in that. They're not ripe. You know what I'm saying? They're not ready to be served. You know what I'm saying? If you can receive it. Verse 18, it says, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit. It says, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. It says, verse 19, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, the Lord is metaphorically using trees for the nation of Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? The ones that bring good fruit are the elect, and the ones that bring bad fruit are the 2/3. You know what I'm saying? You got certain jakes out here that say, if eating pork is wrong, I don't want to be right. Well, guess what? That's a bad tree. You know what I'm saying? The entire nation of Israel were bad trees at that point. But when it come down to your elect, you know what I'm saying, they're going to convert, you know what I'm saying, and they're going to get the proper treatment to bring forth good fruit. And what is that proper treatment? These scriptures, man. Repentance. Being made sorry for the things that you have done, you know what I'm saying, and coming back onto the Lord and staying within that vibration. You know what I'm saying? But when it come down to 2/3 and stuff, they're not gonna come back. They're not gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, when it come down to Christianity and stuff, they believe that they already came back. You know what I'm saying? When really all they've been doing is the same things ever since they was born. They ain't underneath a strong delusion, man. And that strong delusion got them bringing bad fruit, man. So guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna get hewn down. 2/3 are gonna get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? In Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? Jeremiah 30:7, it says, for alas, that day is great, and it's none like it. It's even the time of Jacob's trouble. But, so all the ones that's bringing forth bad fruit and stuff, you know what I'm saying, they're going to get wiped off the face of the earth, man. You know You know what I'm saying? And in the rest of that Jeremiah 37, it says, but he shall be saved out of it, and that he is the elect, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they bringing forth good fruit, because they laboring onto goodness, man. You know what I'm saying? Other than the 2/3 who's laboring onto wickedness, man. You know, so the 2/3 are gonna get hewn down, man. You know, it says verse 20. It says, wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's within in their deeds, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what a person's about. You know what I'm saying? Not just by their conversation. You know, I mean, conversation. Like how somebody is speaking and stuff, but also through their conversation, going into the Greek anastrophe, which means their behavior, man. You know what I'm saying? You know the things that they do, the things that they pretty much whatever you about and stuff is gonna show. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you're about smoking weed, you're gonna smoke weed. If you're about smoking cigarettes, you gonna smoke cigarettes. You know, if you about doing stuff that's excessive and not in balance, you gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna bring forth. You know, and just so actually for the 2/3, this Isaiah chapter 5 verse 18. It says, woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity. It says, and sin as it were with a cart rope. It says that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. It says, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. It says, woe unto them that call evil good. You know what I'm saying? So that's 2/3, man. And it says, in good, evil. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people, they don't call all you like Yabashim Yashabashim Rakakadash 144. A lot of our people, you know what I'm saying, the fruit of their behavior and stuff, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, how it's properly being broken down, you know what I'm saying, they call it evil, man, when it's actually good. You know what I'm saying? Because they're opposite, they're contrary. You know what I'm saying? And then what they call good, which is wickedness, you know what I'm saying, is actually evil, man. You know what I'm saying? So what they consider as good and stuff, they bring forth evil fruit when it's actually bad, man. It says that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. It says, woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. You know what I'm saying? Because it also says in Jeremiah 17:9, it says that the heart is deceitful among all things. You know what I'm saying? And desperately wicked. So the thing is that a lot of people that go after they flesh and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that do things according to the flesh, for comfortability and stuff, and it's being excessive, or it's just unlawful, guess what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? They being prudent in their own eyes. They lean into their own understanding, and they're not trusting in the Lord. Verse 22, it says, woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink. You know what I'm saying? Now, it ain't nothing wrong with drinking, but you got to do it in moderation. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't do it in moderation, then guess what? You spending all your money. You know what I'm saying? What happens when you drink too much? You get headaches, hangovers. You know what I'm saying? And whatever bad effects that come with it. You know what I'm saying? And this drink can also go into different doctrines, man. You know what I'm saying? Because wine and strong drink is used metaphorically in the scriptures to doctrine, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes down to doctrine, which means instruction, it's something you consume. You know what I'm saying? Verse 23, it says, which justify the wicked for reward. It says, and justify means to make right. You know what I'm saying? But you can't make right the wicked. You know what I'm saying? It says, take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. It says, therefore, as the fire devoured the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust. It says, because they have cast away the law of Yahweh of hosts. It says, and despise the word of the Holy One of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And 2/3 are going to despise the word, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, Pastor Har always say that there's a lot of Jake out here that just look at the videos for entertainment, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you can see when it comes down to like some titles. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to certain titles and stuff, if you put another Edomite bites to dust, you know what I'm saying, or or uh, or some nigga woman getting cursed out and stuff because Jake love drama, man. You know what I'm saying? They love conflict and stuff. You know, it's like it's the best thing that's selling and stuff. And the thing is that they don't 2/3 of Israel and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much just watch these videos and stuff because it sound good or they can get some type of gain, which is vainglory. You know what I'm saying? You know, you know, so their root is rottenness, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not firm. And what happens when it comes down to rotting trees? You know what I'm saying? What happens when it comes down to rotting trees? They easily broken. They start deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? You know, start falling apart. You know, and a tree, you know, when a tree is dying like that, eventually down the line, it's gonna fall over, man. You know, it's going to be weak. Verse 25, it says, therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people, and he has stretched forth his hand against them. You know what I'm saying? So now the Lord is going to come against you because it says in, this is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 10. It says, and repayeth them that hate him to their face. And if you are rotting tree, and you are of the nation of Israel, you know what I'm saying, or not, you going against the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord's doctrine is the only thing that brings forth light. So anything outside of his doctrine, anything outside of the law, statutes, and commandments, you know what I'm saying, bring forth death. You know what I'm saying? You know, and what ended up happening? According to James 1 and 13 through 15, you know what I'm saying? We've been enticed with the other with the ways of the world that's gonna destroy us. You know what I'm saying? Like Jake till this day and stuff, they looking for a rest in a time of punishment, man. You know what I'm saying? Because all Israel is underneath the curses, man. You know what I'm saying? We would not be out of these curses until the kingdom comes, man. You know, and it says and repayeth them that hate him to their face to destroy them. It says he would not be slack to him that hateth him. It says he will repay him to his face. And that's what's going to happen to 2/3. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to bring judgment. According to Sirach 39, 39 verses 28 through 30. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has created a spirit of vengeance, man, that's going to appease his wrath. You know what I'm saying? You know, because here it is. Here it is. You plant the seed and stuff, and you expect, and you doing everything right and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a big tree and bring forth fruit. You know what I'm saying and stuff. And you doing everything right, and yet this tree is not. The fruit is still sour. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's not growing up to be as strong as it needs to be or as it should be. You know what I'm saying? It's doing all the wrong things. That's a disappointment. You know what I'm saying? So once that happened, you know, you don't want it to bring forth any type of disease or schism to the other trees that's been growing correctly. So what do? You take it out, and that's what the Lord is gonna do. He's gonna take 2/3 of you out, man. 2/3 of Israel out, man. You know, you know. It says, I'll read again, verse 25. It says, therefore is the anger of the Lord kindled against his people. He has stretched forth his hand against them. So it means that the Lord is coming against 2/3. It says, and have smitten them, and the hills, and did tremble, and their carcasses were torn in the midst of the streets. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is long suffering and merciful, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, he has great pity. And the thing is that 2/3, they take advantage. You know what I'm saying? Not take advantage as in, no, they take for granted, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, like it says in Ecclesiastes 8:11, since a evil work is not executed speedily, therefore it's fully said in the sons of men to do evil, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, like when Jake say, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Well, according to the scripture says, thou shalt not lie. And if the Lord put you to death right then and there, it was going to scare every other Jake around you, you know what I'm saying, who knew that you lied and stuff, you know what I'm saying, not to lie, man. You know what I'm saying, you know. And with the Lord being long suffering and stuff, it's gonna be times that we're gonna mess up, you know. But like it says in Proverbs 24:16, it says, "A just man falleth 7 times, but get back up again. But the wicked falleth into mischief." You know what I'm saying? You know, and what is that mischief? You all continue to do things that's wicked because the Lord ain't jacking you up right then and there. Or like it says in Isaiah chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3, it says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people do not consider. And since you don't consider, it's a lot of times that the Lord actually do be jacking you up when you get a flat tire out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Your girl just come out of nowhere and she got a problem for some reason. You know, she ain't on a period. She just got a problem. You know what I'm saying? She got a problem with you. Like she ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, the different afflictions that's placed upon you and stuff, even when it come down to the regular common cold, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you 2/3 of Israel don't consider. They just think it's just a regular hardship. They just think that it's just life and stuff, and really, it's the Lord jacking them up for their ways, man. You know, and what's the ultimate jack up that the Lord's going to bring? The thermonuclear fire, the lake of fire, which 2/3 of Israel will be a part of. You know what I'm saying? You know. And the Lord is merciful and stuff, but you know, are you gonna take His mercy for granted? You know what I'm saying? Jake always saying, "Lord, have mercy" and stuff. And it's why are you asking the Lord for mercy? That's because you know what wrath He could bring. You know what I'm saying? You know, but do you really think that the Lord's gonna give you mercy when you don't do anything that He says? You know what I'm saying? There's the same way when it comes down to your parents. Parents tell you not to put your hand in the cookie jar, and you keep doing it and stuff, and you ask Him to have mercy and stuff. What do you think's finna happen if you keep being disobedient? You gonna get a whooping, you know. And that's what 2/3 of Israel don't consider. You know, they want to do things on their own time. So when the time of the Lord comes, when the second coming of the Lord comes and stuff, that's when they want to get right. You know what I'm saying? You know, and with you waiting and stuff, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna find yourself being in a situation where it's too late. You know. And I hope this video was edifying. I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechad Chadash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Shalom and a Bob.